Hey, this is Gerrad Anthony from Defenders of the Faith, calling for Shaggy.
Hey, this is Shaggy. How you doing, man?
Shaggy, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, of course. Thanks for calling in. I really appreciate it. You calling from Boise?
I am.
Just a few hours away, though, so that's what matters, right?
Oh, hop, skip, and a jump.
Oh, you know it, man. For our listeners who haven't figured this out already, Defenders of the Faith is a Judas Priest tribute band. How did you guys go about actually forming the band?
Well, Shaggy, that's a long story, and I'll try to keep it as short as possible.
Hey, that's cool. You tell it how it needs to be told.
The current version we have right now, which is the best by far, this all really started back in 2008. I was trying to put a party together for my wife at the time, who was graduating from BSU. And I had come across a group of guys that were performing at the Knitting Factory here in Boise.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
I think back then it was called the Big Easy.
Oh, was it?
And so I had this idea that I could recruit some guys and maybe coax them into playing an hour's worth of Judas Priest while I did the vocals.
Oh, of course.
So anyway, I was checking these guys out, and they seemed like they could do the trick. I hit them up, and about 2 weeks later, I got a phone call back, and that's how it all got started.
I mean, it started out pretty much as just a passion project, you know, for your wife, and then from that point, it became...
yeah. It was purely just supposed to be fun, although I knew inside, you know, I had already had the fire lit, and I had the wheels turning in my head that I wanted to make this happen, but who knew what was going to be at that time? But as soon as we had our first gig at this party, we ended up being able to book another gig right there at the Big Easy, and we had the world's greatest AC/DC tribute band, Bonfire, out of L.A. come up.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And they did the show with us and another local band here. So that was just the beginning. And since then, there's been, I think this is about the fifth version of Defenders of the Faith.
Oh, wow. So would it be safe in assuming that Defenders of the Faith is your favorite Judas Priest album?
No. When we were sitting around trying to decide what to call the band, we all kind of thought that not only did it sound cool, but it actually had some meaning behind it. You know, that we were, trying to defend the faith of Judas Priest.
Yeah.
And so, to me, there was just no other name for the band at the time. So.
Plus, there's already a British steel band out there, so you couldn't go that route.
And there's at least 2 or 3 other Defenders of the Faith across the planet as well.
That's right. I was looking it up. I think there was one over in like Norway or Sweden or something like that was Defenders of the Faith as well.
Yeah, it might be Finland, maybe.
Yeah, some European country.
Yeah, somewhere up there. Somewhere where it's way too cold.
Now, have you guys ever gotten any recognition from Judas Priest themselves?
Yes, actually, kind of as a matter of fact. Last September, I went down and I participated in the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, which was being hosted by Judas Priest.
Oh, really? That would be awesome. Tell me about that.
That was just the most incredible experience. You know, I had it in my head what could possibly happen, or, what really would happen, which was I was going to end up meeting these guys after all these years, after all this dedication, all this effort, and all this fun that we've been having, and to have a chance to actually be on stage with them and play live. That was just off the hook.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, it was a wonderful experience, and I think the greatest thing of all was just the atmosphere, the vibe inside that building, inside Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, which is actually a place of business now in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And, there's just iconic, gigantic rock stars walking through the door, and once everybody is in that building, everybody's the same.
Yeah.
Everybody's friendly, everybody's got time for you. It's an incredible thing. So if anybody ever wants to go hang out with their favorite rock star and perform with them, I would highly recommend doing that.
Yeah, that's definitely on my bucket list for sure. Now, wasn't Sebastian Bach at that year of Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp?
He was, and I got to meet him. It was kind of funny. The rest of the guys in my band, real quick, the way they do that is you fill out a form and you send it in, and they and their staff, they go over it and they pair people up. They put bands together. Anyways, when we got there, it was decided that in addition to some Judas Priest songs, we were also going to do a Skid Row song. Mm-hmm. And they picked Monkey Business, and I didn't even know Monkey Business.
It's a good one.
And so I'm looking at this tune, and there was just a library of lyrics in that thing. And I told the guys, I said, I've got less than 48 hours to memorize this and sing it well. I don't think I can do it. And so I had to go up to Sebastian and say, hey, bro, I'm really sorry, but I'm not going to be able to perform this song with you. But, he took it all in stride, and everything was fine. So
yeah, as you know, Sebastian Bach is one of the other bands on the Rockfest bill, and I was talking to him maybe 2 weeks ago. He was talking about Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp. I don't know if you saw, there was a video that surfaced about a month or two ago of Sebastian Bach performing with a AC/DC tribute band called Gay C/DC. They're an all-gay AC/DC tribute band. And I asked him, I said, so how'd you come about that? He's like, actually, at Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, I ran into Rob Halford, and it was a friend of his. So that's funny.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it?
It really is, man.
Yeah.
I have to say, I've been watching a ton of videos of you guys online performing some Judas Priest classics, and you guys kill it. So fantastic job, keeping the metal alive. What is the secret to hitting those signature Rob Halford high notes?
The secret is just a gift. I mean, obviously you've got to put your time and put your hours in, and you've got to love the music. I mean, it's got to be inside of you coming out.
Yeah.
But I inadvertently discovered a long time ago that I had some kind of an ability to mimic Rob's tones and vocal changes and all those things that he was doing on those early albums. And one day I was on a camping trip with a buddy, and we're playing some Judas Priest inside the truck. We're driving down the road, and of course I'm singing along, and my buddy turns to me and says, "Man, you sound like Halford." And so that kind of started the wheels turning.
Yeah.
And that's while I was in the Air Force. And by the time I got out of there...
Well, thank you for your service.
I moved to Boise, and I realized I had to get back into music, and I didn't have time to play guitar anymore because I was always first and foremost a guitar player, a lead guitar player, as a matter of fact. And I just didn't have that time to devote anymore. But my heart was telling me I had to get back into rock and roll. And so I put a couple things together, and then there was a culmination of crazy events that happened. And I just decided to shift gears and put down the guitar and just start singing full time. And so that it kind of all came together early, and maybe around, I think that stuff all started around 2002. And then by 2005, I thought I had something going on, and I saw Judas Priest and Slayer here in Boise.
Oh,
and
nice.
Then I met Ripper Owens back in my hometown, which is where he got discovered by Judas Priest, right in the same club. So all these things were happening. I'm like, this is just crazy. I'm supposed to be doing this.
Yeah.
So it's been a wonderful experience, and I wouldn't change a lick.
That's awesome, man. And I have to say, Rob Halford has one of the best, if not the best, voice in all of metal. So being compared to him, I'm sure that's probably quite an honor for you.
Well, it's one thing to emulate somebody and to do your best at what they do. It's a whole other thing to be the original. But thank you very much. And it has been very gratifying. And the first thing that Rob said to me when I met him at Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, I was wearing my Defenders of the Faith t-shirt. And he said, having a tribute band, the Judas Priest tribute band, that is the greatest compliment anybody could ever give us. And he was absolutely sincere when he said it. And I got to tell you, that guy, he is just awesome. And he's from the heart, and just a wonderful guy, and I hope I get a chance to jam with him again.
I would love to jam with him as well, but I'm not in the position you are, so I can't. But that's pretty cool, man. Now, Idaho Rockfest, how did you guys get involved with this? I mean, a lot of great bands on the bill.
Oh, yeah, Shaggy. I think I saw the original promo poster online on Facebook or something, and I'm thinking, wow, this is going to happen in Idaho. But I was busy at the time, and I didn't give it a whole lot of thought. And then about 3 weeks ago, I saw it again, and I'm thinking to myself, man, I got to speak up here. I got to do something and throw our name in the hat. So I got in touch with Ron Hayren, the producer of this whole wonderful thing. And
yep, he's a good guy.
And he bit right away. He said, I love Judas Priest. I checked you guys out. I think you're a great fit. And next thing I know, he put us on the bill.
That's sweet. Is there any specific band you're most excited to play with?
I mean, absolutely all of them, but I got to tell you, I'm really stoked to witness the virtuosity of George Lynch.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely stoked for that. But, there's all those great frontmen that are going to be doing their thing, and so I'm just looking forward to rubbing elbows with them and being on that stage and giving everybody what they need.
Oh, absolutely. And we appreciate you coming out. Everyone is super excited. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but last question for you. Is Defenders of the Faith open for a song request?
Well, we do have a set that we haven't incorporated for this show, but by all means, we're open to a request. I mean, we have a drummer that's only been with us for a year.
Yeah.
So he hasn't learned the entire library that the rest of the band has, but heck, if we have it together already and it's not already on the set list, if somebody such as yourself has a request, by all means.
I do. Devil's Child from Screaming for Vengeance.
Devil's Child?
Yes.
I'll tell you what. we have played that. The current band has played that live.
All right.
So I'll talk that over with the guys tomorrow night, and we'll see what we can do for you, brother.
Sweet. That's my favorite Priest song, so that would be awesome to hear.
Yeah, and that's the tune I had to perform with Judas Priest on stage in Hollywood. Did you see that? There's a video of that on YouTube.
I actually did see that, and it sounded great. I mean, just experiencing it live, I'm sure was just a dream come true.
Oh, it was, brother. Thank you.
Oh, of course. Well, hey, man, thank you so much for calling in. I really appreciate it. If you guys get to town, you want to stop by the studio and hang out or whatever, then come on by. Don't hesitate. We'll have a good time and, get ready for the Rockfest, all right?
That sounds great. I think most of us are planning on being there Thursday evening, so maybe there's time.
All right. Sounds great, man. Yeah. If not, then we'll see you at the Rockfest August 24th, all right?
Sounds great, Shaggy, and thank you so much. Let's go, Idaho.
Oh, you know it. Hey, thanks so much, Gerrad. I appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Hey, you too.